Hi guys, Sharath here back again. So this week we'll be discussing about the story of modern republics, how the Enlightenment ideals kind of gave rise to the modern republics, and the fascinating story of Maximilien Robespierre, who is a very influential figure in the French Revolution. And I think his story is kind of a cautionary tale. I'll tell you what to learn from it at the end of this video. So let's get right into it. Unlike what most people think, the French Revolution didn't start at the storming of Bastille. The inspiration for the French Revolution came much earlier from the American Revolution. The British Empire kind of made wars and expanded so much that it has to tax the colonies to keep the governments running. But the monarchs around the world was very much out of touch with the commoners, that they spent their extravagant lifestyle post-war while the commoners suffered so much due to higher taxes and prices. So when there was a tax levied on American colonies on tea without any representation from colonies themselves, they got very much bitter. So they asked the tea be sent back to the British soil. But when the governor insisted the ships unload the cargo and pay the duty, the members of the group called Sons of Liberty took matters into their own hands and got into the ship and threw the chests of tea to the sea as an act of defiance. That later became known as the Boston Tea Party. This act of defiance acts as the first revolutionary act against the monarchs. This further escalated the conflict between the colonies and the British Emperor, so much so that the American colonies got united and declared themselves independent. While they were deliberating in Philadelphia about what kind of republic America wants to be, there was something big brewing in France. In 1789 in France, Maximilien Robespierre helped draft the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen, which became the cornerstone document of the French Revolution. And he also advocated for the universal male suffrage, which was help them give a vote irrespective of whatever their social status was. France was the first country to adopt this principle. Robespierre was a man of integrity and real idealist. But as the saying goes, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Robespierre was no stranger to that. When given the power, he ordered mass execution of perceived enemies of the revolution, including that of the queen and the king. Considering the pain that the commoners were suffering, it was considered necessary by the time, so they kind of adopted it and sent a lot of people to that. While this kind of reign of terror was starting, the King Louis XIV thought it was just a mutiny. The King Louis XIV was just a 9-year boy when he was given the power, and he had not much experience. The world that he was experiencing while he was in power was very complex, and it was changing so much, so dramatically, that he didn't know what to do. While he tried to escape the coup by the reign of terror, he was captured and he was killed on the presumption that he conspired with the foreign powers to diminish the revolution. Although the ideas that they went after was liberty, equality, fraternity. This was very real idealistic principle thing, but when there was no checks and balance, as in the United States that they were discussing, they were trying to build institutions with checks and balance in a way that not one institution will have all the power. France, on the other hand, had this reign of terror. Although they had this idealistic principle, they didn't have much of a checks and balances. Robespierre acquired all of those power and centralized to him. It almost made him a dictator. So much so, he organized his own religion, the cult of Supreme Being. But it was perceived as an egotistical thing. And things got only worse from there on. When he came back to the National Convention and spoke about the perceived enemies within, everybody got scared that their head would be the next. So they declared him outlaw and executed him as well. As I said in the beginning of the video, this is a cautionary tale. The moral of the story is, without checks and balances, anything that centralizes power kind of corrupts itself.